Hello guys and welcome to a brand new video. Today I'm here with My Hero Academia, the final season, episode number 9 reaction. Okay, the previous episode, things came to an end. The battle was over. In the end, All for One was defeated. All the other heroes came in and they contributed little by little to the battle. And finally, Deku was able to use the little embers of his power that was left in him to, defeat All for One. There were a few factors that All for One said, which he also realized was the reason why, like he wasn't able to win. One of them was that basically All Might was a hero who everyone looked up to, and he had no weakness, while Deku was someone who everyone supported. So his plans against All Might failed against Deku because his whole thing was different. Everyone like helped him out. So it didn't work on him because he was used to fighting All Might one versus one. That and also the fact that all the quirks inside of All for One, which was inserted in him, it had a similar reaction with which Deku also kind of faced, that it was his body was not able to take it, so it kind of went a little bit crazy inside of him. So yeah, all of those reasons. In the end, Shigaraki also kind of we saw him a little bit of him at the end, and yeah, things ended. Now let's see what happens. Let us begin. I'll be putting the subtitles and the timer here. Sync it whichever is your preference. Let's get started. Okay, here's the countdown. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. No more ad libs. Right. Okay. Interesting because, there's 3 more episodes left, including this one, right? So I'm wondering what we're going to see now because it's the end. Usually we get like 1 episode, maximum like 2 episodes as an epilogue. This is like 3. So maybe we're going to like see some. I'm not sure what we'll see. Let's see. Hmm. Okay. What Oh yeah, I remember this hero. He looks like hemp. Okay. Damn. Wow. Oh, and all these are from America. I was wondering. Yeah. Because I was like, I haven't seen these heroes before. These looks like 3D. Yo. Right. Oh. Oh wait, they're talking about Deku. Oh no. Oh no, they're talking about him. Oh, I thought for a moment they were talking about Deku or something. Hmm. True. But yeah. Hmm. Yeah, that is true. Like his heart has a. Yeah, he broke out of hospital or something like that. He did. There he is. Wow. Right. Hmm. Damn. Okay, that's good. Hmm. Yeah, I also I also thought that he was never going to leave his villain friends to come and join this world because that would be a betrayal to them. Hmm. Yeah. Oh, really? Oh, wait, he didn't know, right? Yeah, 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 yeah. He forgot. He didn't know that he transferred his power. Yeah, he's quirkless again. Yeah. Not Chan. Mm. Yeah. 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 What the hell is going on? Right. Yeah. Oh, this. Yeah, prison. Right. All graduates used to it. Yeah. Well, oh, distribution of aid, securing hospital. Hmm. Oh wow. Right. Mawata fu. Okay. Yeah, great. Gain nothing. Damn. Yeah, the reconstruction and everything. Hmm. Yeah. Oh no, he's gonna. What? Yeah. Yeah. Right. Who? Oh, is this yeah, leaving? Uh, hmm. Right. Oh, I was gonna say he probably is gonna join our class. He's like, what the hell? Oh yeah, because his quirk makes her visible. Oh my god. Right. Ma, what the fuck? Oh yeah, this girl. She was there in the stage. Hmm. Yeah. Old eraser. Oh, that's why. Hmm. Oh yeah, true. They'll be juniors. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's because he doesn't have any quirk now. That's why I guess he a little bit of, I don't know. You know. Hmm. Hmm. Right. Okay. Ugh. Hmm. Hmm. Mm. Yeah. Mm. Oh. Mm. Damn. Okay. Yeah. Mm. Mm. Right. Mm. Okay. What the hell? Yeah. What? Oh, oh. Well, safety okay. Right. Okay, is that it? Yep. Right, and there you go. That was the episode number 9. So this was, I think, the first part of the epilogue, and two more episodes after this, and we'll probably see a little bit more of the other characters. And today we kind of focused a little bit on the Dabi situation, like Toya and like Endeavor, that their whole thing, and a few other stuff we saw here. For example, what's going to happen in here in Japan, what's like going on, how the other countries are coming and trying, helping out in with the reconstruction work and all that. Then Deku got released, and then obviously they're still students, so they'll have to continue their studies and everything. So they're back in school, and they have become seniors. They'll be juniors from here onwards. Obviously, Deku lost his quirk, so he's quirkless again. Um, but all that stuff. Aoyama left. He, everyone told him not to go, but he was like, I need to take responsibility for my actions, and then after doing that, a day will definitely come when I will be able to, you know, stand shoulder to shoulder with you guys after I have paid my dues. So all that stuff. Um, yeah, and that there you go. That is what happened here. Now, okay, so from here onwards, I'm assuming we'll probably get to see a little bit more of what happens with the characters, like the individual characters, what they're going to do from here onwards. Maybe like some kind of a time skip or something. Maybe, um, you know, uh, something like that. Maybe what Deku does now, because obviously he cannot really be a hero in that sense anymore. So he'll probably be someone who's like supporting heroes in the future, something like that, who which where you don't need quirks in that way, but you are still like doing like hero work. I'm assuming he's going to do something like that. Some yeah, like I'm guessing it will be something along those lines, because I'm curious what like which direction he goes from here onwards, because all the others we know they're all going to become pro heroes. um but like even if it has been like the whole point of this show was how they tried to like how they established that to be a hero you do not need a quirk, but realistically speaking you cannot be do hero works in on the field when you don't have a quirk. Like that is not possible unless I guess you use some like help like gadgets. You know what, that's also a possibility. I didn't think about that. Maybe like some sort of support gadget, because we have like a whole like group of people who does that. The what's her name, I forgot her name. May, was that her name? That girl with the zoom in function in her eyes. Hatsume, no, May, something like that, right? No. You know what, let me just check. Yeah, Mei Hatsume. Like she and her group of like like the students in her, like like what they are like make like they make support gadgets and stuff. So maybe something using that maybe like that Deku can continue working as a hero. Like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, either of those two. Either Deku's going to become someone who supports heroes, and he's still in the hero work, but he's not really in on the field fighting because he doesn't have any quirk. So either that, or with the help of May and her group of like like the others, their department, maybe some kind of a gadget that can make Deku, you know, still kind of continue hero work on the field. Either of those two is going to happen. Um, Yeah, but I don't know. Let's wait and see. Something like that. Um, right. And the other heroes, obviously, will probably they'll just do their hero works. Like they're going to become pro heroes and they're going to help out. One thing that Lemillion said in today's episode is very important, which was this is like we still haven't reached zero. Like these type of situations where like people like gets injured, like there's like these type of uh like disasters happen. We heroes try to bring up the whole situation from negative to zero, because zero is the normal state how the world should be. So currently we're still not at zero. We're still at negatives. Yeah, we might have won the battle, but a lot of other things like construction and all those stuff. Not even that. The fact that now there's like no All Might means that they have gone back to the time, as they said, like they've gone back to the time where there was no symbol of peace. And like a symbol of peace is needed in these type of situations, because that will make like crimes kind of low, because people will always be like, oh damn, I'm going to do something bad, All Might is there, he. So the fact that there's nobody like that anymore is going to make people do more, you know bad things like crimes and other stuff they're going to partake in, compared to what it would have been if someone like All Might was there. um so those type of situations, to counter those type of situations, like that is also something we have to do from here onwards, up until they are at least at a stable position. So all these things to bring back the whole situation to zero. So you know um yeah, all the other heroes will probably become pro heroes, all the like the UA students become pro heroes, and they'll help with that and other stuff. So yeah. Okay. Now let's talk about this episode a little bit. I was kind of talking about it as a whole, but a few things happened here. First and foremost, the beginning, we saw how all the heroes from other countries and everyone, they're also helping. We saw a lot of heroes, different heroes here, a lot of heroes we've never actually seen. They're from America, as you can you know as we get to know later on. They're here and they're like helping out and everything to reconstruct everything. And they have quirks. They can do a lot of things easily. Like they literally have someone who can make like a 3D blueprint on top of the place where the building is supposed to be. So and so many other like heroes helping out. We have like someone like doing telekinesis and all that. Right. Now the thing with Bakugo here is Bakugo, has like lost one of his hands, and he can probably get it back little by little. I think that's what they implied, but he'll have to go through rehab. They're also telling him to get a prosthetic, but he's like, like that won't do. Like I need sweat. Like the prosthetic hand cannot produce sweat, so that's kind of pointless. But yeah, I'll do my rehab, and I'll do it the normal way. Um, so yeah, and then All Might and Deku, we get to see a little bit of that conversation. Here, Deku was telling All Might how he is sad that he wasn't able to help Tenko, but then All Might was like, at the end, he was smiling, right? Then you have saved him. Now, that this is another thing which I talked about before as well, but I always said that I don't think, like, even if it seemed like we're going in the direction where Deku is going to try to uh, bring back Shigaraki and make him one of them, I was convinced about the fact that that's not going to happen, because, or even if that happens, like it would be like he definitely would have gotten arrested, and he would have probably spent most of his life kind of um, like repenting for all the things that he has done. But like that was a small part of me that was thinking that that wouldn't have happened, because I was thinking the direction this was probably going to go is that like Shigaraki is going to die, like, because a lot of things kind of imply that that's the direction where it's going to go. Because like I said, one of the biggest reasons why Shigaraki at the end chose not to become one of them but stay as a villain up until the end is because of the other villains, his villain league, his friends. Like they were children who were similar to him, who had a lot of things, like a lot of ways, different ways society rejected them, and they had to face the same things that he had. So as the leader of that group, he can never say something like, okay, um you know I'll try to be a good person. That'll be blatant betrayal for them, those guys who died as villains. So Shigaraki also decided to die as a villain. But as All Might said, he did indeed save him, Deku, like from his heart. So yeah, he died as a villain, but he died as a villain who was saved internally, who was able to overcome all the things that has happened to him up until now and found inner peace. Someone like that. So yeah, that's what happened with Shigaraki, and you know that was that. And they were talking about that, and then we get to see Bakugo get to know that Deku has lost his hand, and he cries here because obviously he, like, from the very beginning, um, Deku was someone who Bakugo kind of like made a goal, um, in an interesting way. You can say that this is like a very much a similar kind of relationship between how Endeavor looked at All Might. But obviously, it's very different as well. Like Endeavor's whole situation with All Might was a lot more. I don't know. Like it was a lot more like negative. Like it was like jealousy and a lot of other. Like yeah, also Bakugo also had all of those, but Bakugo little by little turned that into something more of a positive force that made him continue running towards Deku and trying to catch up to him. It became a lot more positive from that episode onwards, where like if you remember, Bakugo and Deku clashed, and All Might, like in front of All Might, he broke down and said that I'm the reason why you lost your, you that happened, like because Bakugo got kidnapped and all that. From that episode onwards, Bakugo's whole the way he kind of looked at Deku changed from a more negative way, where it was up until now was more like jealousy and anger and a lot of other things. It became a lot more constructive and positive. So yeah, that is what changed him that from that day onwards, and now he's realizing that Deku doesn't have a quirk anymore, so he won't have like a you know like a goal or someone that he can chase, or he, not even that, like he won't have like someone who he has up until now like tried to catch up to. Like that person is just out of the game completely, and that does sort of thing. Yeah. All Might also says that you guys have grown up, you have changed, you have become more heroes, more like a hero, especially Bakugo, who who has changed so much. Right. So yeah, that was like that. And then we had like the whole graduation ceremony with like Mirio, Nejire, and Sun Eater, uh, and the other like seniors who are graduating. Um, right. Here we get to see how Principal Nezu actually, like, while this battle was happening, while this whole thing was going on, Principal Nezu was busy doing what he could do the best at that point of time, which is make sure, like, after the war ends, whatever happens, like, they can at least get help from the other countries, and like establish like some sort of a deal with them, an alliance and all that. Like that those those type of like things which happens in the like the upper echelons of those type of conversations. Like that is something that he could have done at that point. Obviously he's not someone who goes out into the like streets and fights villains, but he has his part of the job, and he was doing that at that point, where he was making sure, like, even if, like, like the future seems bleak and all that, even if all those things are going on and there's a possibility that All For One would have taken over the world and he would become the demon lord and all that, he still did what he had to do, that is make sure that after the war ends, they can, like, bounce back up. The preparations for that and all those things. That's why a lot of these things happen so smoothly, as we saw. Like immediately after the battle ended, like heroes from other countries came and they started helping out and everything, because Principal Nezu already made sure the blueprint for that has already been done, and he made sure to kind of talk about all of that, and like he did his part basically to make sure the whole process goes smoothly from here onwards. Right, and we had Mirio kind of give a little speech, which was really good. As we see, he talks about like the negative and the zero and all that. Um, right, and then obviously our group, like like the Deku's, like UA's Now they're in class 2, right? The second, yeah. So they have become a seniors. Now, obviously, juniors will come in, and Aizawa Sensei is still their teacher, which is very good. Here we say goodbye to Aoyama, who could have stayed, but he wanted to take responsibility for himself, and yeah, and Oh, and what's his name? Oh God, I always forget his name. She, something she. That guy. Good lord. He came in. He became one of the UA, like like A classes. Like he was able to uh join. Um, right. And then we also kind of met another character here, which who we have. I think this is the first time we've seen her. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, they introduced her as we see. Where's that part? Fua something. New Hiroko's third year student, Mawata Fua. Okay, right. So she talks about how, like, they'll be traveling the country to make sure public order is maintained and all that stuff. How she was also someone who, like, Aizawa Sensei taught. She was in his class, all those things. Right. And okay, now obviously you can see that Deku, like, I don't know, like that section where they were kind of walking and like going back. I think, like, I don't know, like I might be wrong. Maybe I'm looking too much into it, but I feel like there's a part of Deku which was kind of feeling a little bit depressed, not depressed, but a little bit, yeah, like a little bit like under the weather, because it's dawning on him how all his friends will be, doing like field work and like, like actually fighting villains and helping people out more directly, while he won't be able to do anything to help them or help anyone else. So something like that, because it's like, it's normal to have those type of thoughts, because just think about it. Deku has always been someone who, even if he had no quirk, he just jumped into situations like this where he could help, especially with the whole Bakugo situation in episode 1. you know so in situation like this, it's normal to have these type of thoughts that, yeah, I'm quirkless again, I won't be able to do that much, like, to help, like someone, especially for someone like Deku, who always wants to help and all that stuff. So yeah, I don't know, in this section where they were going back, I feel like, like Deku was especially quiet, and I feel like that was probably going through his head or something, I don't know. Yeah, all right, and then we go to Todoroki's section, where like all the family went and talked to Toya, and obviously Endeavor's part, role here is huge, because the biggest reason why this happened to Toya Dabi is because of Endeavor. So Endeavor wants to make amends, and but obviously Toya is not really like in any mood to talk properly. But Endeavor here says that it doesn't matter. I'll come here every day. Like, I know, like, what I have done has done permanent damage, and nothing ever in this world will be able to bring back like those days and what I have destroyed with my own hands. But at least from here onwards, I can make an attempt to be more, like, be like how I should have been as a father. Like, I'll come here every day, I'll and obviously Toya was like, oh, I don't need you, this and that and all of that, but he's like, it doesn't matter, I'll come. I'll come and let's talk. That conversation that we should have had back, way back in the past, yeah, let's do that now. So yeah, that is good, because like, and not only that, you can see, like, everyone, like, obviously Todoroki's family has a lot of siblings, like, there's like, we have Natsu, we have their sister, I forgot her name. We have Shoto, we have Toya. So all of them are different type of people, they're all siblings, but they have different way of looking at things and everything, and they have different. So you can see how each and every one of them have like a different, like, outlook and a different thing. So, for example, Natsu says that later on that that's it. I'm, like I'm going to move on from here. I'm getting married, and he tells Endeavor directly that I'm neither like inviting you to the marriage, or I'm going to show you my wife, or do anything of that sort. Like, I'm cutting all ties from you, basically. And and yeah, and in the end, Endeavor was like, it's okay. You can look, like, no problem. um yeah. Then obviously, their sister, she is still going to continue with what she does. She didn't, I think she said that she left the job, but there's another job that she has. So she's that type of, like, we've always seen, like, like their sister always was a lot more, I guess you could say, what can I say, what's that word, a lot more like accepting and soft-hearted, empathetic in that sense. Like, unlike Natsu, who was more like kind of strong-willed, and some, because obviously what Endeavor has done to them up until now, he has never been able to forgive him, or he neither will be able to forgive them about for that. So that's a lot like Natsu. Like, that's how he is basically. While we've always seen her, their sister being kind of like this, who tried to kind of mediate about like these type of situations and everything. So she's still going to obviously keep in contact with Endeavor and all that, and she's going to continue her job. Obviously, Shoto, he, as he says, that he has his friends from class A, so he'll be completely fine. Shoto, as far as I can remember, already did kind of forgive Endeavor, so that's okay in that department. While obviously Endeavor, like he said, he has his own things to do, which is make amends for all the bad things that he have done up until now, especially towards Toya. And even though Toya is almost dying, and I feel like Toya is probably going to not survive at the end, he'll probably die, because they said like his whole condition is getting worse and worse. Yeah, but Endeavor will be there up until the very end. Obviously, like I said, it's not going to bring back those days or make everything okay, but at least he's doing something that he should have done back then, and he's doing it now. Like, instead of just not doing it at all. And obviously, like his, like, their mother, like the Endeavor's wife, she's going to be there and support him. We also get to see that Hawks is also keeping in contact with them, you know, to help them out and everything if they need any help. Then we also have, Endeavor's group, their hero agency, all of those guys, they're also there. Right. So yeah. Okay. I kind of like brushed over that section. Let me talk about that section where the whole conversation with Toya and them. So like Endeavor. I talked about the whole Endeavor section, but like it was nice to see in the end when Todoroki Shoto asked like, "Oh brother, what is the food that you like to eat?" Like, yeah, at that point of time he was overwhelmed with emotions. He cannot really speak properly at that point, but in the end he ended up saying soba, and he's like, oh, that's just like me. And it kind of reminded like us back what that type of conversation that they had when they were fighting, where Toya said that you and I are parallels, we are never going to meet, but here we are, you know. Like, yeah, at the end they're humans, and on top of that they're siblings, so they have finally met on the same path again. Right. Okay, one thing. Oh, yeah, I was gonna say, like, in the end, Hawks calls someone Mera. I'm like, who the hell is Mera? Oh, this dude here, the from Public Safety Commission. Yeah, Hawks has joined Public Safety Commission, as we see, and yeah, this is Hawks, the new Public Safety Commission president. Yeah, uh, right, and that's where it ended. So there you go. Like, this was the first episode of the epilogue. There's two more episodes after this. So like I said, I do wonder what we're going to see. We're definitely going to see what everyone else is doing, what like all the other heroes, what they will be, and maybe like a little bit of time skip. I'm really curious, like I said, to see what Deku does. Um, my guess is, um, either like a hero like supporter or something, where you don't need quirk or you don't need to do field work or anything, you can just support them even without any quirks. Or like I said, from May, like some sort of gadgets which can help him, I don't know, like do more hero work, something like that maybe. Either of those two. So let's see which direction this goes. I'm curious. Right, and that is it. That was my reaction to episode number 9 of My Hero Academia, the final season. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to press the like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel, or you haven't subscribed. Comment down below anything you want to say, anything you want to let me know. I'll check them out. And yeah, that is it. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next week with another episode. Until then, goodbye and have a nice day.